Hello. I'm over here complaining about these camera angles sitting over top of my forehead. Uh, Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle. Dang it, Keith Paris and Cliffy Paris. Welcome to the show. Yeah, the program. He's just stuck in the back of my head. It is Michelle Bryant here, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, we're going to have some real conversation today. No guests, just me, unfiltered. I'm actually going to try to act right. I am. I had somebody say the other day, you be doing way too much. I'm like, I've actually been being kind of chill. I've been relaxed. I haven't really, nah, he be snapping. No, I do not. No. I do not. I tell truths, right. Uncomfortable truths. Let me say good morning to some folks that have already hit me up via text. What's up, Solis? What's happening, Dion? Yes, I did hear about my man, Peabo Bryson. I will talk about Peabo. And good morning to Shelby. Tell my little guy I said what's happening. Good morning to y'all. What you over there laughing about, Clark?
Because somebody said, yes, we love the unfiltered machine.
Oh, you looking at the comments. Good morning. Good morning. Look, I'm just saying. Oh, y'all already on here talking about what's the word for the day. Okay. Look, okay, y'all. Let me get it out the way before Jermaine tell this suck joke. Oh, did I say that? Did I say that? I did not mean to say that.
Michelle, you
what?
On the road this
I did not. I did not mean to say that.
She been on the road this morning.
I meant to say this quality joke from Jermaine. Mm-hmm. And facts over feelings, tell your son that I said this is not a good joke. I dread Wednesdays. I go to bed at night on Tuesday like, damn, it's Wednesday tomorrow. The word of the day is park. P-A-R-K. Park your car, go to the park. I have no other uses for park. That's it.
Park yourself in the seat.
Park yourself. Oh, my mama. Park your behind over there and don't move. We mean to tow up some stuff. Oh, yeah, I had said that a long time. I got to say that to Atlas. Park your behind. Atlas would be like, Grandma, you park cars.
No, you gonna park yourself.
No, he don't know nothing about his daddy. Them, he don't know nothing about all them sayings. His daddy them way too extra. They don't. He's missing out. I do need to move down south so he can catch all these grandma isms because he's missing out. All right, so just know if you participate in the program that we have, this multi-state text to win contest, you have the ability. We are giving away $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize package for tickets to Wisconsin Dells Experience. That is happening daily. And then the grand prize, 2 winners will receive that. $250 grocery card, $250 gas card. I'm going to be best friends with whoever wins that. And the word of the day, and that word is good for 1 hour. So the word of the day is park, P-A-R-K. You need to download the Civic Media app and then go find the phrase text up at that top on the right-hand portion of the screen on most phones. And then but if you can, go down to the station WNOV and go that way, and you just text the word park, and they will notify winners within 5 days from what I understand, and you will find out if you win it. So, and if anybody wins, please call us and let us know so we can keep track of what's going on. All right, with that being said, let me say good morning to the brothers in the building. What up, Clark Kent? What's you, bro?
Well, you been on the road this morning.
No, man. No. What up, Angela? No, man. I'm just running from Jermaine. I'm running. He got his shades on. He ready. I'm sick of you and your eyes. Go to the doctor. Buy some glasses.
Like
I'm telling you, I'm sick of him. He can walk around in all these. expensive bedazzled shirts, but he can't go handle that eye business. I've been hearing about this little mess for the whole. How long you been here? My eyes, and then he got tears rolling down his face. It's my eyes. It's my eyes. No. No. But you good, Clark.
Yeah, I'm good.
So we getting closer to my food on this
the
catering job this weekend. I'm already anticipating.
I got
a
couple more things to pick up, and I'm good.
You have the ability to actually cook very well. So it ain't not like a brother that could cook. Boy, woo! It is the dream. Wait, no, what package you got? You don't come up here with nothing but some fruit. You ain't put a meal on the table yet. You ain't put a meal on the table yet. At least Keon will put a meal on the table. You ain't coming up here with nothing but some sweet potatoes, some yams in the morning. You have nothing but a pretty face. I can't do nothing with you.
Put me on the poster.
Yeah, no. Tell everybody on time, you better have some skills to go with that face, baby, because I can't do nothing for you. You can't fix that. Well, you look like you might be able to fix a little something, not a whole bunch, but you might be able to do a little something.
You'll be surprised.
He can't make no salmon. Jermaine can't make nothing but some Captain Crunch. He cannot cook. There has been no evidence of Jermaine ride out cooking. Keith coming here with all his little chest stuck out, talking about his chicken wings and his chili and his.
I already told y'all.
I don't know if he said sloppy joes. It's something else Keith make over at the house. Rhonda let him in the kitchen for a few minutes. He cooked when she out of town, messing up her pots. But yeah, everybody, Debo, I was on that grill. Everybody got a little something. Jermaine ain't brought nothing up in the studio. McDonald's got stock in McDonald's.
Oh, yes, he do.
So okay, now I done belabored it as long as I could. I drug it out. How you? I did try. How you doing this morning, bro?
Shell.
Yes, sir.
How do you say? Good. I said that was good. Shell, today is a very special. Well, actually, it's beautiful outside.
Okay.
I feel like
it's gonna be 80 something today.
Call me meteorologist Maine Candela.
No, let's not.
So I want to
meteorologist Maine.
Maine Candela. Miss Candela tells on Channel 6. Call me Maine Candela.
We not gonna do that.
Meteorologist Maine.
We're not gonna mess up Miss Candela.
When we do the sound work.
Today's weather is it's beautiful outside. The sun is shining. It's a little it's a little cool right now, but it's supposed to warm up to the 80s around 2:00. So
well, thank you for the weather report.
Yeah, so you get out of traffic. Today is also Wednesday. And it's
why are you yelling, man?
I just feel like
why are you yelling? Okay, go ahead. Today is Wednesday,
and someone has asked a question.
Nobody.
That someone is me.
Nobody.
Oh, okay.
But the son of the brother who does Facts Over Feelings podcast. No one else is asking a question. And of course, yo boo. She's waiting on your question.
See, there you go.
Okay, what's the question?
Now, my question is, if a blind man reads an official sign in Braille that says "Do not touch," did he break the law?
But you get these off a cereal box or something. Like where is the book at, Jermaine? Where is the book, Jermaine, that you are getting these from?
These are me at home.
So this is what you're doing when you should be cooking. You up here coming up with this. This is what you at home. This is what you at home doing. When you should be. Oh my God.
It just hit me.
Somebody say ask the question one more time.
Okay.
Someone say, here we go, brace yourself.
So the question is, if a blind person reads an official sign that says "Do not touch," did he break the law? In order for him to read it, he got to read it in Braille. So did he break the law?
People on Facebook and YouTube.
And these are questions that I ask myself. Hey,
No,
I thought maybe
he did not break the law. In a legal sense, a crime or civil violation requires both a wrongful action and the intent to commit the crime. A blind person touching a sign to read the braille is not doing so to violate a rule. Rather, it is necessary to action. It is a necessary action to understand their environment. This is the paradox, and this is actually known as the paradox of braille. Braille signs are explicitly designed and placed to be touched. If a sign is printed in braille, the property owner is actively inviting someone to touch it to receive the information. So the target of the rule, the do not touch portion, is for you Negroes that can see. and here Michelle has brought yet more clarity.
That is crazy how you can find these.
Yeah, and every time you give a question, you come up with that.
Oh, she finds the answer. That is bananas.
But that there is actually something known as the paradox of braille.
See, who would have known?
And look, and I just want to be clear, this is not coordinated
At all.
I have no idea. I'm on pins and needles when I come here on Wednesday. I have no idea what this dude is getting ready to
We
say.
don't know what the question
But
gonna
the
be.
education that people
That's
are
crazy.
receiving,
That's
Yes.
crazy.
that is crazy. But it's a real thing. And the fact that those questions be sounding so off,
That's
but
why,
like they have like real merit.
I tried to
that's
tell
why
you.
we
man.
number one.
8% of the time,
I tried to tell you.
they have merit.
Yeah.
Less than 10% of the time. All right,
Good job,
y'all.
man. Good
Let
job.
me get to this show this morning, but let me start off, and I'm gonna get to people. Look, I'm gonna get to Peabo Bryson, but let me do this. Okay, somebody sent me 9,000 laugh emojis. Somebody said, OMG, hold on. My father-in-law was blind. So this is hilarious. Somebody said, are these questions from the Cracker Jack box? Someone else trying to help out Jermaine. That was a good one. Stop playing that a lie. That was not a good one.
I'm just saying.
But let me have this moment. So I am very appreciative of having Lakeisha as a friend, because Lakeisha is one of the nosiest people I know. She keep up with everything and everybody. She know everybody, which works to my benefit because I'll never remember people's names. I'm terrible. I'm better with faces than names. And I don't pay attention to like our neighborhood apps. I don't do none of that. Like they could be like Michelle's a stalker knocking on your door. I wouldn't know because I don't pay attention. But in one of the neighborhood apps yesterday, there was a post from my sorority sister, and the post of Dr. Alicia Moutry. For those of you that listen to the station, sister of Brother Kwaku, and she posted that someone had tried to break into their home, and it was around 10:23 p.m. and she lives out in the Heritage. I forgot what the whole neighborhood is called, but like off 107th, 8th, 10th, going back up through there, off Mill Road or whatever that street is. She lives kind of up in that area. And she posted on the neighborhood app. She was asking people to be vigilant because you see a white guy at their door, and she and her husband were both at home, it sounds like. And but a white guy at their door, and you can see his face. And he takes a screwdriver and breaks off their Ring camera, but the Ring camera picked his face and everything up before he tore it away from the wood on the house. And then he proceeds to go to a door and try to open the door. using the screwdriver, jimmy the door, whatever. And, they had to like yell and let him know it's somebody in this house and we ain't up in here playing. And so they put his picture out on the neighborhood app. And I immediately, thought about all the people that are in their house, in their houses, in their homes, 10:23 p.m. A lot of people getting ready to settle down to go to bed. And so this is the last thing you're thinking about. And this is an area that is out the way. You got to be intentionally coming over here to do some foolishness. Like where they live, it's not on a main thoroughfare, main street. You got to be intentional about walking through this neighborhood, looking for homes to target. And so, like I said, you can see the guy clearly. If that picture was posted on the news, you could easily see who it is. Somebody that knows him, they would recognize him. But I say that to just, again, to her point, be vigilant, pay attention, and even with the Ring camera, that's as good for a second because you get the notification, that there's motion outside your door. So you got time to react. But a lot of people, you don't have nothing in your house to react with. You all you doing is dialing 911 and getting ready to try to find a baseball bat or something to, protect yourself. This is another reason. I'm just saying, this is another reason why I am an advocate of having things in your home to be able to protect yourself. Because that, might have been a deterrent. You come up in here, bro, you may not leave up out of here. Yeah. And so I'm just saying, just think about if that was you in that situation and you visibly just saw on Ring camera that somebody was trying to get into your home at 10:23 p.m. and you got to call the police. And I think she said it took the police about 20 minutes to get there. So you got to call the police and you got to wait. What could have happened in those 20 minutes? Because if I decide that I'm no longer going to try to jimmy the door and I'm just going to break a window out because, I'm high, I'm whatever. Somebody said, and what if they were sound asleep? That part too. Yep. So, if I decide I'm determined I'm coming up in this house, then what do? So I talk to people all the time about how you sleep at night. If there's something near you, somebody said, oh, Judge Taylor, that's why I voted for concealed carry and castle doctrine, protect your house and your car. And she was the only Democrat to vote for that. Yeah, Lena was the only Democrat to vote for concealed carry. She was the only one. Yep. Like people came for her because of that vote, but she was the only one to vote for that. I think it made national news, but yeah, she was the only one to vote for it. But the thing, I say to people, and I know people who have firearms in their homes, and I'm like, you upstairs in the bed, your firearm, because you only got one, and your firearm is downstairs, in the kitchen, in the living room, wherever you keep it, and it's not near you. If you only got one, have gun will travel. It needs to move with you through the house. But, it makes you think about back in the day why your family members, what do I say all the time on the show? And I know it's other people that say it with me. It was guns everywhere because it was a shotgun in the corner. It was a pistol on the kitchen table. My granddaddy had one in the shift row. Like I could go through the house and tell you where firearms were. Under the mattress because, and I was talking to somebody last night and one thing he said because Black people understood back in the day, it was folks coming up in our house and snatching folks up like they came in and snatch up Emmett Till. And so people knew I don't have time to run to this room, to this room, to this room to try to protect myself because they could come into this house, in any kind of capacity. So first of all, I'm so glad that, Dr. Mutri and her husband are safe and that, this did not end crazy. But it is a warning for people to think about when you get ready to lay your head down at night, what's your safety situation? If anybody gets into that home, do you have anything near you to help protect yourself? It doesn't have to be a firearm, but do you have anything around you, near you, to protect yourself? That's all I'm asking. I need to take a break. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'll be right back. Family, welcome back to the show. So I said this morning that I certainly would address the fact that we have lost one of the greats, Brother Peabo Bryson, who we had got notification that he had suffered a stroke over the weekend. Peabo Bryson lived in Marietta, Georgia, and his family had put out a statement saying that he had had a stroke. And on yesterday, it was announced that he had passed away as a result of complications from the stroke. Peabo Bryson was 75 years old. And I didn't realize until I started kind of looking back at his life and some of the different stories. He and my mom were born on the same day. And it made me smile because she was a huge Peabo Bryson fan. His music would come on and I could hear her, turn it up, Michelle. Ooh, that man voice. Ooh, turn it up, Michelle. And so, we know him, his music catalog. When folks talk about, catalogs, Can You Stop the Rain? One of the fan faves, Reaching for the Sky, Love Like Yours and Mine, My Heart Belongs to You, Tonight I Celebrate, Show and Tell. Oh my God. Yeah, Show and Tell was a jam. Just Shower You with Love. He just has so many songs that I can go through different periods of my life based on his music catalog. I can tell you where I was, what was going on. And but then he becomes because he's R&B, but he becomes a massive crossover success when Disney reaches out to him to tap him to do some music for some upcoming movies. And not really fully appreciating that when they reached out to him, I think it was in 92, to cut a song for Beauty and the Beast, Celine Dion was just getting started. She was just learning how to speak English. And so when she gets paired with Peabo Bryson, the studio has to say, hey, look, she a little rough. This Celine Dion, who goes on to become a mega star, but she could barely speak English when she worked with him on Beauty and the Beast. And so they talk about at this time frame. And, it's crazy to think about it, but he had 4 songs that was all charting at the same time. So you got Beauty and the Beast, which he gets 2 Grammy Awards for in 93 and 94. He gets A Whole New World. So he gets a Grammy for Beauty and the Beast. He gets a Grammy for A Whole New World with Regina Bell. That's 93 and 94 respectively. And then he is called into some other, with Aladdin and the King and I album. He did a classical crossover, Kenny G's Breathless album. So this, and there will be people that certainly can do his memory way more justice, but I appreciated that he said, growing up in Greenville, South Carolina, he attended concerts with his mom. And that by the time he was in high school, he knew he wanted to be in music and he wanted a career in music. And he actually said his mother was not thrilled about the prospect of him chasing his dreams in the R&B business and worried that he was going to get in trouble. He says, quote, as far back as I can remember, I've always been into music. It's all I ever really wanted to deal with. I had to make that decision when I was around 14 as to what I was going to get into career-wise. Well, I thought about being a doctor or something like that, but I really felt that music was my thing. And so he said he cut his teeth as a backup vocalist for various groups, but none of his bandmates could properly pronounce Peabo, his French West Indian name, which is actually spelled P-A-P-O. So he changed up the spelling to make it simpler, and his stage name, Peabo, was born. So his name is Peabo. That's crazy. His name is a French West Indian name, P-A-P-O. And he said the folks in the band kept messing it up. So he changed it, and his stage name became Peabo. In the late 60s, he linked up with My Elusive Dreams hitmaker Moses Dillard. I just started out singing. I progressed into percussion, guitar much later, playing the piano. That was basically when I started getting into songwriting. And so in 67, he signed his first record deal with Bang Records. And in 76, he made his solo debut single, Underground Music. And then he did his album entitled named Peabo, and Reaching for the Sky in 1970. Ooh, Reaching for the Sky, Jesus. And Crosswinds in 78. So this man's career has been an incredible journey. They talked about the stage performances when him and Jeffrey Osborne got together. Ooh, can you imagine Jeffrey Osborne and Peabo on the same concert? Yet alone on the same stage singing together. Jeffrey Osborne's voice is one of my all-time favorite voices in the world. When we went to go see him down at Summerfest like a couple of years ago, man, I was just over the top because that was the first time I had seen Jeffrey Osborne in person. So I just, we want to make sure that we honor this brother. He has had other health scares before. He had been in the gym. He had a heart attack while he was at home in Georgia. And he said he had flatlined for nearly 30 minutes, telling folks, quote, it was long enough to make friends on the other side. That happened back like in 2020. So he has had health scares. And he actually said, and I quote, it turns out that dying is not that hard. Didn't hurt that much. It's the living afterwards. That's the really difficult part. I mean, why are you still here? You have to ask yourself those hard questions. Are you a good father? Are you a good husband? Are you a good friend? Are you a good brother? Are you a good human being? He said he was able to answer yes to all those questions. So he is survived by his wife, Tanya Boniface Bryson, his son, Robert Bryson, and his daughter, Linda Bryson, and 3 grandchildren. So memorial arrangements will be announced at a later date. I got to take a break. Caller, I do see you. You'll be first up if you can hang through the break. I'll be right back. Okay, so why did I just see one of my text messages? And somebody said, why does Jermaine sound like Sugarfoot from the Ohio Players? And so I said, wait, I got to go listen. And then he got that big smile. So yeah, okay. I had to go play it. I was like, let me see. All right, let me go to the phone line. These folks been holding. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Well, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Good. Don't call here dragging. You put some pep in your step. What's going on?
Okay. So anyway, speaking of when you was talking about how people have their houses, my house is booby trap, baby, because wherever anybody break in here and hit me, wherever I fall at, I'm coming out that corner. You better know it. Because before I move in, I booby trap my whole crib.
I don't even want to know what all that means. It's better left unsaid. It's better left unsaid. I think
you got to picture it, but every corner there's something that's gonna really do something to somebody. So don't take that chance.
Well, thank you for that public service announcement. Don't come to this house on no foolishness. We appreciate that public service announcement. Look, that's why Alderwoman Pratt won't come to your house.
She got a house like Home Alone. Set up like Home Alone.
Alderwoman Pratt, like, I really ain't coming to the house now.
I would not harm that lady, not at all. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, she was gonna come before. She ain't coming down. Talking about this booby trapped up in there. Oh no. What's that? What else going on, Angela?
Well, so anyways, that little question that Jermaine said today, all I could do was just shake my head. I couldn't even speak. I just shook my head.
The
That's
little
all I
question.
Just shake my head.
Keith Paris, why I gotta be little?
Well, however he may take it, it don't matter. But all I could do was just shake my head like.
It seems like it's a lot of head shaking going on.
Oh,
Well, you
And
know.
I heard you say that, boo.
You heard me say what?
I was his boo.
Whoa.
I didn't say that. I didn't say no
You
name.
did. You said
I didn't say no name.
You didn't say no name.
And so you assuming you the boo. I didn't say no names. See, you're telling on yourself. I said no names. I said
Anyway,
bye, Angela.
Hi, Ken. How you doing? Who you with? You better know it. It's Mr. Debo.
Somebody said be the light, Miss Angela.
Is Mr. Debo in the building?
He is not. We did not allow him to come into the studio today.
Oh, y'all didn't?
Nope, didn't want to see him.
Okay, well, when you see him,
Well, we won't be doing none of that. We won't be telling him nothing.
you will.
He hear you, Angela. He listening.
Hey, Debo.
You know what?
Michelle.
In all your countryness. What, Angela? What?
I'm going to get with you tomorrow.
You know what? Okay.
Before you leave.
Yes, ma'am.
I've been getting a lot of things.
Angela, I got a show to do.
Bye.
Bye. How people get an attitude with you about your stuff? Bye. Let me go to the next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning. Good morning.
What?
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you this morning?
Blessed, joyful, grateful, thanking the Lord. Thanks for asking, Michelle. How about you asking? How about yourself? Excuse me.
I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
You and Angela back to back. It's gonna be a long day.
Now, why you got to put it like that? I got respect for Angela.
It's gonna be a long morning.
she says some wonderful things, and I do too. I got knowledge for a lot of people.
Do you?
I got information for a lot of people. Just like
well, go ahead. Get to
good morning,
giving
Milwaukee. Good morning, man. Ryder. Good morning, Clark. Man, I'm with you, man.
Good morning, there, sir.
All right. Yeah, man. I tell you, Tyrone W. speaking, and the two times I've seen him, I enjoyed the show thoroughly. I seen him down at Summerfest at the Marcus Amphitheater.
Who are we talking about?
Peabo.
Jeff Peabo. Okay.
I seen him at the I think it was the Billy the Kid Young gave me his tickets there. And, I went Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
I actually got a chance to shake his hand there and meet his brother too. But so Peabo and the Peabo family, my love, prayers, and condolences. Love all the songs, got all the albums. Did get a chance to meet him. Didn't really get a chance to sit with him and all that and kick it with him, but I got a chance to shake his hand there, meet his brother there. Also, very quickly on and glad Kwaku and his family is safe as well. Good morning, Kwaku. The Commodore's bass player, Ron LaFlave. I was listening to Sharpton there. Our music individuals and icons are leaving us. The bass player, Ron LaFlave, I believe I'm pronouncing LaFlave or LaFlave, one of them. I haven't looked at my Commodore's albums in a couple of years there, but I believe he said LaFlave or LaFlave. The bass player, you look at the album, you'll see it.
Yeah, LaPrade.
But yeah, so I mean, and I seen the Commodore. I seen Lionel Richie as a solo, but the first time I seen the Commodores, oh man, they had the gear on and everything. Dr. Bop had brought them on with the Commodores and the OJs. Dr. Bop brought Dr. Bop, but good old Dr. Bop. And then the second time I seen him down at Summerfest without Lionel Richie, but I seen Lionel Richie as a solo with Sheila E.
Okay.
But
all right.
That's it this morning. Sunshine, blue skies. I'm getting ready to get out here in it. But yeah, and game one tonight. Yep. Get him, Cat. Carl Anthony Towns. Get him. Love you, Wimby. But yeah, I got to go with New York. So have a great day. Say hey, Alice for me. Great weekend. I'll talk with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Love
all
you.
Right. I can't stand y'all. Okay.
Like, man, get the lead out, man.
You have a whole laundry list.
Oh, that's my dude.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I had not mentioned that the co-founder and bass player for the Commodores passed away also at the age of 75. He passed away on May 31st, and he was actually in New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand. And the iconic, when I tell you, that's why I hate that we can't play stuff on the radio that people can hear on YouTube and Facebook, because you'll get that little void. But baby, Brick House. Oh my God, that just legendary riff on Brick House. And I will just say this real quickly. When I went to high school in Birmingham, and my band teacher, Leslie Duncan, went to Tuskegee University with the Commodores. And so, most black band directors, they sit, and whatever song was playing on the radio, they would sit in that band room and they would write the arrangement for every instrument to be able to play whatever you heard on the radio. And so we had a connection with the Commodores because of my band teacher. And we in the band room, just chilling, and we would get surprise visits and guests from people. Lionel Richie's wife lived around the corner from our school. Her family was around the corner from our high school. So yeah, I know what, when people talk about these connections, but yeah, Tuskegee, Alabama, Tuskegee University, the Commodores come up out of Tuskegee. All right, let me take a break real quick. I'll be right back. Somebody said Peabo also played one of the early. No, he did not. I remember that. Peabo Bryson also played one of the early black and white balls. I have a picture with him. Thank you, Dana. I forgot because I've been going to the black and white ball since I've been in Wisconsin. 80, 89, I think I've been going. Say what?
Black and white ball.
I can't hear you.
What year was that black and white ball?
I don't know when it was founded. But you mean what year was he there?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I have to figure it out.
Okay.
But yeah, I have been going to the black and white ball since I came to Wisconsin. I remember the dress I wore to the very first one. Showstopper, baby. Let me go. Let me go to a break. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So as you may have heard during one of the commercial breaks, there was a press release that was issued from the office of Alderman Mark Chambers Jr. That talked about the public sessions that are being held to discuss the Midtown Center development site, and more specifically, because there's nothing else really into, contention or question, most likely as much as the proposed data center, whether it's a mini data center, they don't want to call it a data center, the developers, whatever it is, there's going to be 3 meetings that were mentioned in the commercial. Wednesday, June 10th, so that's next week, 5:30 to 7. Thursday, June 18th. So they're spaced every other week, it looks like. June 18th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. And Saturday, June 27th, from 12 to 1:30 p.m. So again, this is happening at where the hell is it happening? Hang on. Where is it happening? The information meeting. So I guess it's going to be at the Walmart location. Because I want to just say, and I'm just, I know how I can be. I'm just telling everybody right now, I know how I can be. But this is the most poorly written press release like I have seen. And people don't understand. All of this is a reflection on you, your office, your capabilities. When people who don't know what they're doing are doing stuff on your behalf, I'm assuming you see it, you sign off on it, and you let it go out. And that's because I say this all the time. people make stuff look easy. And so folks go, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that. No, you can't. This press release was so badly written. It starts off. This is the way it starts off. Alderman Mark Chambers Jr. said, members of the public are invited to attend 3 upcoming public informational, blah, blah, blah. Nobody in hell starts a press release by saying, Alderman Mark Chambers Jr. said. Then the second paragraph, Alderman Chambers said the informational meeting. That's not how you write a press release. Like, as somebody who did this, and it just irritated and irked my soul to see this written so poorly. And this is a representation of your office. Now, somebody said, well, Michelle, how would it go? Alderman Mark Chambers Jr., you know, and you might say 2nd District. You may need to say that, but not, you know, I would say, just so you know which alderman he's a district of, invites members of the public to attend 3 upcoming public informational meetings, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a way that you set the press release up so that I don't have to dig through the press release to see everything. There's a little mini section that will just have the dates, the location, so it's clear. I don't have to read through the paragraphs to find it. I know how I am. And there are people like, Michelle, you just be nitpicking. No, because there's a way you're supposed to do stuff. You never start a press release, Alderman Mark Chambers Jr. said. That's the countryest mess I ever seen. Oh my God, please get people that know what they're doing to represent you. And please know what it's supposed to look like when you okay it to go out. Because trust me, people in newsrooms was laughing at this press release because it's written so country. This is the thing about why people get mad with me. Because I'm always trying to tell people how to show up, how to do stuff, to make sure that people working for you are representing you correctly. This is a horribly written press release. It's horribly written. Okay, now that I got that off my chest. Jesus Christ. So try to go to one of these meetings, you know, so people can get the answers that they want. I appreciate that the meetings are being held. This should have been done on the front end, not later, but I'm glad that it's being done. Somebody said the press releases are done on purpose. They make sure you are ill-informed so you don't show up. But whoever's doing them, like, you representing this dude. And anybody that writes press releases knows as soon as they saw it, like, who the hell wrote this country nonsense? Because it's written badly. I don't know who's working down at City Hall, but this is not how you write a press release. It's written very badly. Different fonts. The font for the meeting is different from the font from the press. Like, all it's just written badly. We got to stop showing up half-ass. That's the thing that just irks my soul. And people don't even know that's how you look out here. But I see people do it all the time. And you can't tell them they ain't doing the thing. Like, get people around y'all that know what they doing. Whoever wrote it, you need to take a quick little cursory review on how to write a press release, because this is garbage. Okay. I had a whole moment again. All right. So before I do the national news, let me also mention Sherman Park Boulevard. There is redesign going on over there. I used to live in that neighborhood off of 45th and Townsend for Jesus Christ years. And neighbors over there are concerned about the redesign because people already, you know, scramble to make sure they got parking. If you got, depending on the type of home you have, you know, it's multiple people live in the house, multiple people have cars, you got street parking. And now the way some of these designs are happening, people will be parking several houses away from their home because of the way this stuff is set up. And as they are working to put in bike lanes, make the city more friendly to, multiple types of transportation, I get that. But some of these designs are awful for the neighborhood, for the residents who actually live there, not just for the people who biking through. And some of the people that live in the neighborhood, they own the bikes too. But you are losing parking space frequently in these redesigns. I don't want to have to park 9 and 10 and 11 houses away from in front of my house. I come in at different times of the night. I got to walk 9 houses, 10 houses away from my house to get into my house. And so I don't know what kind of public meetings are going to be happening over in the Sherman Park area. But y'all, when y'all see these people coming in to do redesigns in y'all neighborhoods, you got to be involved in the process. You got to hold your alderpersons to task. You got to ask for public meetings. You got to ask for conversations, and then ask people like, so if this was your neighborhood and your wife got to get out the house, walk in the house, you want her parked at the end of the block before she can make it up to the house, walking home at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, coming from somewhere? Like, we got to do a better job in the way we laying some of this stuff out. I get the reckless driving piece. I do. I'm here for you. I got it. But am I willing to give up all the parking in front of my house so you could do this? I'm not. What level of and parking is already a premium in terms of getting spaces, and particularly if you live in a situation where you can only park on one side of the street. So you already fighting for parking. So I'm just saying, when these things are happening, y'all, please be engaged. Please let folks know and take the time to go and understand what's happening in your neighborhood. You don't want to start talking about it after the stuff is already done. Now you're complaining and the work is done and nobody's coming back to change it for you. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello? Hello? Okay. I'm sorry about that. Caller, we called you. Call us back. Got another caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, Michelle?
Hey, how you doing this morning?
Brothers. Great. Hey, talking about the Sherman Park Boulevard, they did have a meeting a while back, and we lit them up. But the thing that's so crazy, what I wanted to add to the conversation was that they found out about what they were doing. They got the money in 22. It's 26 now, right?
Right.
And then they're coming, and the people had such great suggestions. Oh, yeah. But why didn't you talk to them about that? And, when you were starting to do it, they were coming to tell us this how this going down, going to one. The bus wouldn't be able to pull over, so then that would cut it down to one lane of traffic. It was just really crazy.
Because I had heard like Sherman gets like 30,000 people a day.
Exactly.
I couldn't even believe that number when I heard it, but they said Sherman Boulevard gets about 30,000 cars a day. So you're talking about at some point you could have one lane of traffic?
Yeah, because the bus, with the bump outs and that silly crap, the bus wasn't going to be able to get over, for the traffic to keep moving, which was just really crazy. What are y'all thinking about with that type of traffic? It wasn't, their design wasn't helpful at all. No input from the like you said, the people that live there, the parking, and it was just really crazy. And my thing about our representatives, we elect you to represent us, not dictate to us. When you find out, we should find out, and discuss it. And you might not be able to please everybody, but at least talk, so that they know what's going down before it comes as, hey, this is what we're getting ready to do to y'all. That's what's so crazy to me. And it's just as easy as as a representative, when I find out, y'all gonna know. That's why you're there.
So let me ask you a question. Do you know where they are in the process over there?
After that meeting, they were like nixing all that. because the people everybody was, for the most part, was just, this is crazy. And, y'all need to, and they were like taking in the suggestions of the residents, which was just so crazy to me that I'm like, well, why didn't y'all come to them in the beginning? And then the other thing too, Sherman Boulevard is a historical road, so they didn't want it tore up like that, with all this crazy stuff that, you ask me, doesn't really even work anyway,
Yeah, some people online were comparing it to the way Walnut was all reduced to one lane and craziness over there. Well,
and you seen the craziness on 60th Street.
Oh my God.
Oh,
60th Street is a nightmare. Okay.
Where they find these people? And like back when they started doing like all these bump outs, I went to a meeting out on 76 at the library over there. And they, it was supposed to be an informative meeting, but it was what was going down, not, I don't even know why they had the meeting, is what they were doing. And I really didn't, I wanted to express that it didn't seem like that was really the thing to correct what was, you're still not correcting the issue. Everything Milwaukee for the most part does, as you all talked about on the show, is knee-jerk reaction. It's not big city thought, planning. But that's what I just wanted to chime in with.
Well, no, and thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate the call, and I appreciate you letting us know that some of these meetings had been held. And I see some people posted online. Multiple design meetings were held, asking specifically for residents, neighbors' input. And it just rolls up, so I can't see the rest of it. So I'll go back. But so that is, like I said, but we gotta go. We gotta participate, and I'm glad it seems like some people were listening. But folks are still talking about it, worried about what ultimately is going to end up happening over there. And as we drive through other communities, there are places that I drive through, I'm like, y'all, this is ridiculous over here. You have made it dang near unbearable for the homeowners and the folks that live in the actual community, so that people riding through here and there, occasionally to and fro, it was more consideration for those folks than it was even for, it felt like, some of the homeowners. So like I said, it's just frustrating. That's all I'll say. It's frustrating. So let me do a couple of these stories that we need to jump into. First and foremost, Lord have mercy. Alabama. It just does not feel like sweet home Alabama. One of my favorite things about Alabama, when you pull into the state, depending on where you coming in, which side you're coming in on, just the sign, Sweet Home Alabama. Everything that conjures up. One of my favorite license plates in the world is the Stars Fell on Alabama, with all of its history, storied history of segregation, racism, maltreatment of people of color, Black folks in particular. It's a mixed bag, and I understand that. But when you think about the fact that this state had drawn congressional maps, that because the maps had been so unfairly drawn previously, that they were cutting out Black representation. We're talking about states 25% Black, 30% Black, when we look at some of these southern states, and yet you got one seat when you a third of the state's population, and Republicans and white people are controlling everything else. And you got to fight like hell to get that one seat. And so people in Alabama have successfully argued, no, look at our share of the population. The way these maps are being drawn to provide representation in Congress and even in our state houses is unfair. It's just like in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 50-50. They call us a purple state because you got an equal number of Democrats that live in the state alongside Republicans. But the way Republicans had drawn our congressional and district state maps for years and years and years, they drew it to favor themselves. And so you end up with Republican controlled legislatures. The only thing they can't hardly control is that governor's office, because that's a statewide race. But when you can, so it's not done by district, it's just done across the state. But when you control the districts, you can draw the districts in a way that you guarantee that Republicans will get control and usually keep control of the state legislature. Alabama was doing the same thing. Louisiana doing the same thing. Mississippi, Georgia, they was all doing the same thing. So black folks have been going to court and fighting this and winning until we get a tax on the Voting Rights Act over the last several years. Donald Trump ramps it up. They got all these stolen judicial seats on the Supreme Court of people who come in with a particular ideology. And the Supreme Court, United States Supreme Court, says you can draw jacked up maps as long as it does not racially discriminate. But if it favors a political party, then sure, go ahead, draw them that way. There's nothing inherently fair about saying I can give an unfair advantage to somebody because of which political party you are in, particularly when the people making the decisions, the Supreme Court right now is a 6-3 conservative court. So you got conservatives making the decision that it's okay for conservatives to cheat when they draw districting lines to see who's going to represent people in office. So folks in Alabama had been doing everything they could to protect the second majority black district that was created. A lower court in Alabama had ruled that the way Republicans had drew the map, it was intentionally racially discriminatory. And so they said the maps were illegal and they couldn't go forward with trying to get rid of that, that district. It was appealed. And on yesterday, the United States Supreme Court said that Alabama can use the map intentionally designed to discriminate against black voters. That's what they said. They can intentionally use the map to disenfranchise, to take a seat away, to mess over black voters. All because it's done under the guise of, no, this is about Republican versus Democrat versus independent versus blah, blah, blah. But if 80% of black people identify as Democrat, and you say it's illegal to discriminate, you say it's legal to draw discriminatory maps based on party affiliation, what's my word I say all the time, then de facto, you're allowing racial discrimination to happen. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. End of story. And so, of course, the 3 liberal justices, didn't vote with the crazy, conservative 6. And just the fact that it's a black man on the Supreme Court who not just votes for this, but actively pushes and promotes it. It's just the most disgusting kick to the gut. What is wrong with you, man? Because you cannot keep trying to tell me that this is being done under the guise of fairness. And so they're going to lose this district. And because that ruling has come down, all of these other states are going to be emboldened and empowered to go ahead and say, our jacked up maps, they get to stay in place. The idea that you would permit Justice Sonia Sotomayor, in her dissent, she said, the majority's decision, quote, debases the democratic process by upending Alabama's entire election in the name of permitting Alabama to discriminate against black Alabamians. Intentional discrimination is the new standard the Supreme Court set in its April decision. Intentional discrimination. But they're saying, yeah, you can, and you shouldn't be able to discriminate against people because they're Democrats. It shouldn't be allowed. We have a two-party system in this state. We have had it basically since our inception. So the idea that the United States Supreme Court says, stacked with a conservative court, oh, sure, you can discriminate against a party. Sure you can. No problem. So that's what we have happening right now. So what the upcoming elections look like, the midterms, the presidential, all of this is being done. All of this is being done to guarantee that these people remain in power. Alabama has been embroiled in drama for years. They have figured out how to mess over black folks in Alabama for years. And the Supreme Court, you just hand it to them. You hand it to them. You let Texas redraw maps so that they can guarantee they'll pick up 5 congressional seats. You know, we see black legislators dumped into one district. Like, it's just madness. It is madness. This is not how, and that's why coming up on the 250th anniversary of this country, all of it just seems hollow because everything is just so ignorant and upside down right now. Like, what are we celebrating? Who's celebrating the 250th anniversary of this country? Who? That's black. Who's celebrating? Because we keep taking these steps backwards. Or we are, I got to go to break. But stories I was reading yesterday about how the Department of Education, if black kids bring forward civil rights claims, discriminatory claims, they're all being brushed aside. Or they'll go and look at those cases and, in fact, flip them cases on their head and say, nah, y'all discriminate against white kids. Y'all discriminate against white people. So the laws that were put in place to protect black people who had historically been discriminated against in this country are now being flipped on their head and misused in a way that it protects the group of people that had been the oppressor. I got to take a break. I'll be right back. Family, welcome back to the show. So bless you, bro. Bless you. So at some time today, you know, I don't live in Minnesota. Don't get to Minnesota often. I don't. You know, back in the day, I used to go to Mall of America, but other than going to the Mayo Clinic with Keisha, I don't get to Minnesota. But I may pick up the phone today, tomorrow, sometime this week, and call 2 members of the Minnesota legislature. A black woman, a sister by the name of Lisa DeMuth, and a black man, a brother by the name of Walter Hudson. These are both state representatives in Minnesota. Lisa DeMuth represents Cold Springs, and Walter Hudson, he's like Hennepin and in that area and Wright counties. And they're black Republicans in Minnesota. I think they have just the 2. I don't know of others, but I think they have just the 2. But they are black Republicans in the state legislature in Minnesota. And so they did what we're getting ready to do here in Wisconsin. I think it's next weekend or weekend after. We have our upcoming. I'm a member of the Democratic Party, full disclosure. I talk about it, you know, it's no secret. And I will be attending our state convention when it's time, you know, for that. And the Republicans had their state convention in Minnesota a few days ago. And during their state convention, the Republicans decided that they would hold a moment of silence for Derek Chauvin. Now, there are some people who immediately know that name. And there are other people who are like, that name sounds familiar. And there's still some people not plugged in. And it's like, who was Derek Chauvin? What about if I say George Floyd? Because we know that name. So Derek Chauvin is the police officer that keeps his knee on the neck of George Floyd until this man takes his last breath. For 8 minutes, I think it was in 46 seconds, with his hands in his pocket, looking like he was whistling Dixie in his head. He sat unbothered, untested, unrestricted, as he had his white knee pressed against the neck of this black man who was begging for his mother and dying in the street saying, I cannot breathe. And everybody was forced to watch. There were people around. There were folks that could have stopped it. There were police officers that could have stopped it. Civilians did what they could do. They videotaped it. They yelled at the police, do something, stop this. But at the end of the day, the almighty white powerful man was able to just sit with his damn knee on the neck of George Floyd with his hands in his pockets, unbothered, whistling Dixie in his head. That's what I'm assuming. He was whistling. And the Republican Party of Minnesota at their convention decided that they would hold a moment of silence to honor Derek Chauvin, the killer, who's in jail, who I keep waiting to see if Donald Trump going to figure out how to pardon before he leave office as his final ignorant racist act. How you do that? But more importantly, what did the two black Republicans at the convention say if they went, or once you found out about it? What did you say, black people? What do you say, black Republicans here in Wisconsin, when you got people doing a moment of silence for Derek Chauvin, the killer? What do you say? So, Elon Musk, with his racist behind, has been calling for Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin. The man who gets Trump to bring all the white South Africans to America. You going to import racists to the country like we don't have enough here. We're going to import, 7,000. Now we're going to go grab another 10,000, racist white folks and bring them here because you being mistreated in South Africa because they want their land back. And we stole it and we shouldn't have to give it back. We've had it for all these years now. And so it's not fair. It's too much. It is too much. So the Republican Party in Minnesota, now everybody reaching out like, are y'all out y'all mind? Now they ain't got nothing to say. You had moment of silence and thoughts and prayers for Derek Chauvin, but when people call you out on your raggedy, now you have nothing to say. Silence, just nothing. But I'm not interested in what the Republican Party as a whole got to say, because the writing is on the wall. When people show you who they are, please believe them. But I want to ask Lisa DeMuth and Walter Hudson, what y'all say? Did y'all take the moment of silence? Because I'm going to tell you what would have happened in the Democratic Party had the Democratic Party pulled some racist foolishness like that. It would have been chairs moving up in there. You could have heard the hell no's coming from Mississippi up in a Wisconsin state convention in which we honored somebody that killed somebody in such a blatantly racist and disrespectful way. But it's black Republicans, some who sit right in our face, who won't talk about the poor taste, the misguided judgment, or just outright call it out for what it is, the ignorance that is that is what the Republican Party did in Minnesota. And speaking of ignorance, Donald Trump, you know, you get to do these appointments. Hopefully you get to have people approve them. And this man is now proposing to put someone over, is it 19 agencies, who has no national security background, don't have a security clearance, has never worked in the arena. When I tell you the idea that these people are just putting their friends in place, and you know, when they talk about, you know, questioning Black folks' credentials and unqualified, and you know, DEI hire and lacking merit, and you know, we need to be in a meritocracy. How you put somebody over national security that has no national security background, ain't worked at no agencies, don't have no experience, but you getting ready to be over what now? So we need to feel safe as Americans because you putting your son's friend in this role. Like, what are we doing? Oh my God. Okay. So this is the job that Tulsi Gabbard had. Okay. And Tulsi, you know, just say with that whatever you will. Just you know what? I'm gonna come back to it because I don't want time to get away from me, and I don't say something about California, but I'm gonna circle back on that because we gotta stop. We got 2 years of this, and we are put in a worse situation every day with this administration, from incompetent leadership to appointments to decisions to but just for a second, let me go over to Cali, because I didn't talk a lot about the races in California, because you realize how the process is being further eroded because of money and wealth and unserious people getting these jobs, and how power is shifting, and the only thing that can drown out buckets of money is if everybody shows up, or you know, we show up in such sizable numbers that your money won't be enough to win you, steal you, snatch you an election. So first of all, on the mayor's race, I was glad to see that Karen Bass was able to advance in the mayor's race. She actually came out with the preliminary counting that's been done in the first place. But I think when I last checked, there was only like 36% of the vote. And then there's a guy named Spencer Pratt who is right behind her in second place. Spencer Pratt is a hot mess. I don't know how else to describe him. A TV personality who has said some of the most interesting things. And he has used AI to depict Karen Bass as like the Joker in the Batman movies and a monster. And it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. He is a Republican who is trying to scam and run as an independent. Or, you know, he's trying to tell people that that's what he is now. But if people are not careful, this guy could literally become the mayor of LA. And what I was intrigued about, because they talked about the record amount of money that went into his race. And it came from a couple of pots that I thought was interesting. Two of the most powerful record executives, and I'm just pulling up their names. Let me see if I can grab them. Okay, so you have record executives, record company executives who are financing or not, playing in dark money in this campaign. And these are people that you wouldn't, traditionally think about, that we would see, but the list of the world's richest men who are behind this guy running against Karen is just madness. It is absolutely madness. One of the guys, his name is Sergey Brin. He is one of the richest men in the world. He maxed out donations to Spencer Pratt. You have, again, and I'm going to pull a list. I want to be able to talk about it in a little bit of detail tomorrow, because the outside influence of money, when we do Citizens United and we allow this level of money to play in these races, good luck defeating these people. And then you got the billionaires maxing out contribution and driving these donations. And frequently you putting people in place that's going to benefit your industry or what you do. And so that part of the California elections a bit unnerving. And then you pay attention to the governor's race in California. And one of the guys on the Republican side of the aisle, they had asked him a question about people being homeless. And they said, well, what is your plan to deal with the estimated 40,000 homeless people? And he said, well, first of all, let's be clear. They're not homeless. They're drug addicts. I was like, say what now? You said that on camera? Out loud? He said they're drug addicts. We just need to understand that first and foremost. So Donald Trump is playing in this governor's race in California. And when I say, so right now there is a Latino gentleman that, is coming out ahead on the Democratic side. Javier Becerra is on the Democratic side. Steve Hilton is the guy coming out on the Republican side. It looks like in these results that, it may be a head-to-head, but y'all, first of all, California has not had a Republican governor since Arnold Schwarzenegger. So think about that. How long he been gone? It is a state of 40 million people. I don't even want to think about what happens if people with their own agendas get a hold of California and what you begin to do and the policies you begin to institute. California is a country in terms of its size. It is bigger than a number of small countries. I've said this before 100 times. We have a state population of between 7 million, just shy of 8 million, somewhere in there. California has 40 million people. I think they got more people than like 5 or 6 states in the United States. What'd you say? Exactly. So while, what's going on in California may not seem like, somebody said California, the city of LA had a reality star as a candidate. He had 0 qualifications to be mayor. Thank goodness for our sister Karen Bass. Yeah, but folks gonna have to show up for Karen. That's the reason why I'm talking about this. We have got to be more engaged and strategic. We know people in Cali, we got to call and say, hey, make sure y'all folks is turning out. Everybody registered, everybody voting, everybody good for that governor's race and that mayor's race. We need our folks to show up. We got to pull this sister across the finish line. You cannot let some of these people get control of these offices, man, because they abuse the power way too often. So I'm going to wrap the show there. But the money, and every time we say this is the most expensive race in history, we had the most expensive Supreme Court race in history right here in Wisconsin. Then the next race, most expensive. Money is ruling the day. And as these billionaires get rid of people, have all the financial influence politically, we reshaping this country, reshaping. And yes, there have always been titans of industry. There's always been that. But we had a little bit more say when money, and before Citizen United becomes a thing, we had a little bit more say as individual lay people. This fight is so real on all fronts. It is crazy. So we're going to keep talking about it. We got to talk about what's happening around the country, how ultimately it makes its way to our front door. And I will end here. As CBS made the decision to fire Scott Pelley, I told people I stopped watching CBS when the new president came in. You saw what was happening. You could hear the reporting was changing. What was being said was changing. I don't trust CBS anymore to give me accurate news. I go to other places now. While I wouldn't have probably conducted myself in that way, even though I wasn't in the meeting, so I don't know how out of pocket this individual was. But I understand people voicing frustration. I've voiced frustration. I've been very deliberate and defiant about things that I believe in wholeheartedly, and I'm prepared to take the consequences that come with that. But y'all got to pay attention to where y'all getting y'all news from. And listen for the slant. Listen for the bias. Listen, and I mean, you can, even with me. That's why I always say, for full disclosure, I'm this or I'm that. Because even if it's not intentional, things can jade my perspective. But y'all, we gotta stay woke. I don't care what these folks try to make you believe about being woke. We gotta stay woke. That's the show for today. Bros, I appreciate y'all. Family, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.